Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back to more Rome 2. Now, we have some more goals to deal with, don't we? This siege will go on. It's, like, what, I need, what, 2 more turns? No, 1 more turn, so I can, get some action going. I'm looking forward to that. I like siege battles. Siege battles are fun in Rome 2. Besides, I've been having a hankering to play more Total War Warhammer recently, and God fucking knows those siege battles are not worth much, so I should probably get in whatever I can while I'm playing Rome. And we'll just stab you. You're not much of a problem. Stab, stab. Go away. Good lad. Now, the Night Lords. You're gonna be a... I'm actually kind of tempted to making them a Garrison Legion just because it gives melee and armor. But... I mean... Because these guys are not going to be upgrading much, but they already have a lot of armor. 129 is really, really, really good. Actually, how are that compared to Legionnaires? They're actually better than fucking Legionnaires. Dang. Right, okay, I didn't know that. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, Garrison Legion. Bonuses to armor, and I get Defenders of Rome. I kind of like, but we'll do Keepers of Peace. Now, I know, Ventus Domini, Night Lords, Keepers of Peace, but think about it like this. The Night Lords are Keepers of Peace. They're just not the Keepers of people, you know? They keep the peace, and they keep the peace very, very effectively. It's just that, yeah, people are gonna die in their hundreds, thousands, possibly. Depends on how long it takes them to learn their fucking lesson. But, I mean, look at Nostramo. Conrad Curse instilled some proper fucking peace and order there. It was perhaps not to the taste of all of the locals, this is true, particularly the ones he, for example, skinned to death, might have had objections, but details. It's peaceful now, isn't it? Who was it? Was it, because the Emperor found Nostramo along with, who was it? I think it was Ferrus Manus, Fulgrim, and was it Dawn? Or was it Gulliman? I don't remember now. Anyways, one of them, I think it was Dawn, because this seems like something he would say. Or was it Fulgrim? It might have been Fulgrim. I'm rereading the Horus Heresy at the moment, by the way, preparing for the Horus Heresy series, so I'll brush up on this before I do any lore videos on it, don't worry. But he pointed out that Nostramo was the perfect planet. Perfectly ordered, there was no crime, there was no violence, there was no nothing, and he was correct. Of course, he hadn't the faintest fucking clue as to why this was at the moment, but... The sword was drawn. You can't deny that there is a certain perfection in being able to instill complete peace. You know?
The sword was drawn.
Peace. No, fuck you. Nobody got mugged, there was no murders, there was no violence, there was no crime of any kind. I mean, that is a fucking achievement. The fact that this achievement was made possible by the simple fact that he would violently torture to death anyone who did any crimes, well... It's an interesting moral question, isn't it? So, think of all of the people who didn't have to suffer because of this, you know? Think of the old lady who didn't get her purse snatched, yeah? Think of the old man who didn't have his home broken into, who wasn't killed by a bunch of rampaging hooligans or drug addicts or whatever. Think of the children, in fact. I know, think of the children. In the context of this particular argument. That might seem like a strange place to go, but trust me. Think of the kids. Think of the children who, you know, didn't have to live in poverty due to this, because everyone was well taken care of in Nostramo. That wasn't a problem. And how much is this? Yeah, I'll take that. Wait, did that? No, that's just that those weren't upgraded. Wait, yeah, no. It does upgrades. Excuse me, their weapons. But yeah, think of all of the benefits, you know? Most people, the overwhelming majority, in fact, of people, had it way better under Conrad Curse than they did under the old dictators. Much, much better. And yeah, some people had to suffer really, really badly due to this, but at the same time, I mean, think about it. Isn't that potentially a benefit? You know, it's a net gain for the population, isn't it? So, is it therefore worth it? Interesting question. Rain. Well, it does mean my stuff can't be set on fire. Nah, we'll wait. Dry. Good. Okay. I'm feeling a bit of a rant coming on now, so I'm gonna indulge myself. So, and plus, it's fun alienating people by defending torture, isn't it? Well, defending torture might be a bit of a stretch of what I'm going to be doing, but essentially, it is a question of the greater good, isn't it? Where do we have these shelters? We have, like, we'll put 3, now 4 of them over there. Come on. There you are. And we'll put another 4, 2 down the middle, and 2 down the side here. That's good. And the ladders. For the moment, you can just kind of hang around there, I think. Now, don't fire, don't fire. Good. Oh, forgot about you. You can walk on over here then. It's going to be a little while before I can attack anyway, since I'll be preparing and waiting for the rest of my troops. So, the real question comes down to, what is it worth? From like just a human perspective. What is the suffering of a single human worth compared to the benefit of a single human? And then the question becomes, what is that question when it relates to a larger number of people? To simplify, say that if you knew with 100% certainty that killing one man would save, let's say, 2. Let's start with 2. Killing this one man would, guaranteed, no questions asked, save 2 people. Like, you know this, it's a universal truth. Like, God him fucking self literally comes down from the sky and goes like, okay, if you kill this man, I'll save these 2 people. You know it without a shadow of a doubt. It is an indisputable truth that 2 people will live if you kill this one person. What is the moral right in that situation? Because, on one hand, you are taking a life, yeah? And the moral implications of killing someone, that's a complicated question in and of itself. I mean, you'd probably find that most people would argue that killing, in the case of a war, assuming it's a justified war, which brings up the question, is there such a thing as justified war, but we'll try to limit ourselves somewhat, would say that killing is a necessity. It is correct, even. It's just, it has to be done. It's a factor of life and the universe. War is a thing that we have to deal with. As such, killing is a thing we're gonna have to deal with. But, at the same time, society has obviously made rules against murder, because, well, if everyone was just running around fucking murdering each other, bad things would probably begin happening. It's not the best way of keeping a solid and stable society, as you can probably imagine. And through our various religions and moral codes, we have generally come to the conclusion that murder is wrong. Despite the fact that murder is one of the few constants in pretty much every single civilization on Earth. Cultures vary, religions vary. Hello there. I figured they'd try this the moment I saw the fucking boats, so I've already got the archers lined up to greet them should they be silly enough to come all the way over here. What was that about? Oh yes, murder is one of the few constants. Like, it happens in every civilization, it happens in every culture, it happens in, well, every continent. Wherever you go, you are going to find considerable amounts of people that are either currently in the process of killing one another, or has long established histories of killing one another. It's pretty damn unavoidable, and yet it is something that we all consider to be a evil, you know? As much as you would find people, I would say, that killing is a necessity in certain circumstances, you would also find an overwhelming amount of people that say, like, taking another person's life is wrong, it's morally reprehensible, you shouldn't do it, and of course there's a ton of legal arguments as well as to why you shouldn't be killing people, societal arguments, etc, etc. There's a lot of really good reason why you shouldn't be stabbing your neighbor to death with a spoon, for example. Not only is it fairly impractical to be killing your neighbor with a spoon, but it's also just not generally accepted in society. Oh, damn little bastards. Decent. Damn. I wanted to get some shots off on the Oathsworn, but they sacrificed 3 units to protect their general's unit. Hello, no. Looks like he's gonna come to me. At least in part. Actually, we've sidetracked completely, haven't we? Yes, we have. Actually, you know what? How about we just fucking ignore the whole murder part? We'll just say that, you know, murder in and of itself, done for personal gain or political gain, etc., is always wrong. You know, let's simplify it that far. Just because otherwise I'll never fucking get through anything. Yes, murder bad. You shouldn't stab people to death. Arch Warhammer says you shouldn't kill other humans. At the very least, not without a really damn good reason. And even then, you should probably think twice about it, because, you know, bad. I'd really like to kill this person, by the way. I know I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but this is the ancient world, okay? It's fine here. They're dirty Gauls, barbarians, they're bad people, and it's not really a problem if they were to all die. It's fine. It's moral, in fact. What the hell am I fighting? Supposedly this unit is fighting something, but I'm not entirely sure as to what. Oh, the doggies are attacking the others. Come on now. Just fall on over. There you are. So, yes. 1 life for 2. Is that correct? You know? Is that a good thing? Is killing 1 person to save 2 people, is that good? Mathematically, that's a good thing. Obviously, because you are saving 2 people's lives, which are twice as valuable, yeah? But are they? Like, what's the value of a life? Is 1 life worth 1 life? Or is 1 life worth 2 lives? Or can you even put a value on life? And at that point we enter into the realms of the esoteric, you know? Oh, you can't put a value on a human life. Well, in all due actuality, you can. In fact, it's quite easy to put a value on a human life. It's simply the cost it would take to kill people. In the modern world, you'd be surprised at how cheap that is. Recently in Norway, it would appear, and I'd say it would appear simply because I don't know, the particulars of the case are still unclear at this point, but still, I'll use it as an example. A teenager stabbed and killed another teenager and a lady who walked past and saw the fight going on and tried to stop it. And it would appear as if the reason behind this murder, teenage, like 16 or something, I don't know the exact age, it would appear that the motivation behind this murder was that the teenager who attacked the other one owed him 600 Norwegian kroners, which is a little bit less than 100 American dollars. So, in that case, that was the price of a life. 100 bucks was the cost of a human's life. You might say that sounds a bit cheap, and I'd probably fucking agree with you. It was one of those senseless incidents that, you know, it shouldn't really be happening. To make it more worse, too, it was a Norwegian kid who stabbed another one. So I can't even go that, you know, it's their culture. They're fucking... The Muslim culture, which literally, in many cases, breeds people to disregard human life simply due to the fact that, well, they've been living in a war zone for most of their life. That's not even a product of Islam or anything. It's just the simple fact that it's a war-torn area, and you're likely to start considering human life to be worth less if a lot of humans are dying around you for apparently no fucking reason, etc. But no, this was just a Norwegian kid brought up in a Norwegian home, a Christian home by, well, de facto. Raised with a Christian background, everything, and there was nothing that suggested this. He didn't have a particularly violent history, he didn't have a background that suggested any of this. He just killed this person. Now, in all due likelihood, he didn't go out with the purpose or intent of killing the person. There's nothing that would suggest so. In fact, it would seem that he meant to threaten the other kid to get out of the debt, which, again, the cost of it. But, again, senseless fucking incident. But, again, it just demonstrates the point. A human life is not worth an infinite amount of cash. In fact, you'd be hard-pressed to find a human life that's worth more than shall we say, $10,000? I'm pretty sure you could find someone desperate enough to try and kill someone for 10,000 bucks. I don't even think you'd have to look that fucking far, to be entirely honest with you, in today's world, today's economy, etc. I'm honestly thinking you could probably find someone that would be willing to kill another human for $10,000. Hell, let's be generous and say 100,000, yeah? You might say, human nature, better than that. Yeah, I don't know. Generally speaking, history has shown us that if you're starving, you're gonna be willing to do a whole lot of bad shit to no longer be starving, if you get my drift. Oh, that missed all of it, didn't it? Come on. So, with that in mind, the definitive nature of life, of course, being impossible to adequately... how should we say? Adequately value? Adequately classify, perhaps? With that in mind, would 2 lives be worth 1? And depending on your question, or, well, not the question, the answer, how much would a human life be worth? Is there such a thing as the value of human life when it comes to other human life? Let's say you could save 100,000 people for 1 person. Would that be morally just? It is an interesting question, isn't it? Because there's no right answer. On one hand, the logical, mathematical part of most people would say, yeah, totally. If you could guarantee the saving of 100,000 lives, the prevention of suffering for 100,000 people, then the death of 1 person would obviously be worth that, right? But at the same time, it's a human life. Said human is likely to have a family, people who care about him, people who love him, people who consider him to be the most important person in the world, to them, essentially. So how do you put a value on that again? And how do you put a value on it in the case of Nostramo, where we're not just talking about death, Konrad Kurz didn't simply just kill people. No, he killed them in ways to ensure that no one else would even fucking consider doing what they did ever again. He would flay people in front of their families, and then he would flay the family. Like, when just violently murdering a person wasn't enough to keep other people from doing that, he would instead go one step further. He would kill the person's family in front of the person. And when that wasn't enough, he'd start killing anyone they knew, anyone they cared about. Your fucking grand aunt, etc. He'd just kill anyone he thought he could have any fucking love for. Just to make it worse. How would that stack up towards everything? Like, what's the value of that? I mean, is there even a value? Is there even a justification of that? God, I fucking hate these shelters, by the way. I need to stop them for a moment here so I can actually get in shelter. There we are. Is there a justification for that action? Can there be a justification for that action? Like, at all? Is there any situation in which the brutal murder of a man's family right in front of him, even though this family might have been entirely innocent, is there any situation in which that is justified? I really don't know. that is a genuinely hard question, because again, you come back to quantifying human suffering compared to human benefit, essentially? Which is already more or less impossible to quantify, because again, quantifying the value of a human life is essentially impossible when we come to the metaphysical of feelings, of emotions, etc. If we're just going to quantify it in cash, that's very different, and in fact, in general, you'd probably come to find that a human life is worth remarkably and disturbingly little in that case. Speaking of that, there will be many, many, many human lives to take over here. The archers does not appear to have been able to disengage cleanly, which means I can send in the veteran legionary into their flanks. And at that point, they're pretty boned. Now, the archers are moving up as well. The gladiators are moving in on the flanks. And once the gladiators get in there, that is when things get truly interesting. We of course also have the covers moving on the other opening in the wall that we honed. Now, let's set up some covering fire, shall we? Hello there, little levies. This infantry resistance is not going to be presenting much of an issue. I'll begin moving over the gladiator spearmen. Need to be a bit careful with the gladiators, because obviously they're not particularly heavily armoured. As such, they will take some uncomfortable casualties from arrow fire, which is currently proving to be a little bit of the problem, since they are able to slow down our advance by just basically throwing shit at us. Now, the covering force, however, should be able to start limiting the amount of incoming firepower by killing them all, in all due hopefulness. They're already shaken, they're already wavering. And that is one unit. These guys are a little bit out of range, but it doesn't really matter. That unit has disengaged. Okay. Let's send veteran legionaries up there to claim the tower. Looks like we're not going to need our covers here. They sent pretty much everything over onto the other flank, which is beneficial to us. We'll start moving up the war machines. Everything else. Might as well move the dogs up as well. Why not? Why not indeed? Right. You'll be heading over here. Looks like they don't want to give up on this flank entirely without a fight, which is unfortunate. Still, shouldn't prove to be that much of an issue, all in all. The Celtic warriors are not that good fighters. As for the gladiators, we'll be sending them around the other side, I'm thinking. Oh, I kind of want you to attack them. Good boys. Nope, get up there. I forgot about you, little poor bastards. Now you're getting shot at by a tower. That's very unfortunate. Sorry about that. In fact, how about you guys go over there? You really, really should not be using gladiators for this. It'll give them far more casualties than you would like them to get, but in this particular case, I'm just going to have to get something in there, I'm afraid. Now, there are two units preventing me here. At this point, I think I'm just going to try and burn down that tower. Rather than letting it sit up there plinking away at me, I'll set fire to it, and it'll take one more volley. And there we are. That'll take care of that. And we'll send in further legionaries to take care of the spear warriors. Now, that is getting captured. Perfect. And we're setting them up as well. Good. I'll send 3 gladiators up here. And we'll send another force in this way. You're capping? Yes, you are. Good, 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 good. Now, how's the range looking? Pretty damn good. What kind of enemies are we looking at up here? A fair few, actually. Are you about dead yet? Yeah, 94 damage. It's not going to last long. The spare warriors are going to be able to hold out for a while, unfortunately. We're just going to throw ourselves at the front, and then we'll begin moving in some gladiators into flanking positions. Damn, these spear warriors are surprisingly good against the veteran legionaries. Fall back. Move you up as well. More spear warriors. A tempting target, frankly. Depends on how deep it's going to get. I'm thinking... let's do an experimental few launches. Nah. The range is too considerable to do that safely, I'm afraid. Right, now we'll start trying to move around the side there, and we're just about to get through. There we are. Which obviously opens a hole for the gladiators. Pull back the legionaries. Move up the archers. Hello. What are you doing with the javelins? Yeah, probably want to be using your swords and shields instead. Trust me, they'll be far more useful in this particular happenstance. Soon. Very, very soon. In fact, we're already getting around their flanks. Oh. 40 Celtic warriors, that is adorable. Not particularly worthwhile, but adorable nonetheless. Yeah, they're not going to last long, are they? For obvious reasons, no. No, they are not. And holds fire. There we are. And that should be the end of that. They put up a fair bit of resistance, everything considered, but... yeah... overwhelming firepower. And there we are. Tarraco is the newest little piece of the Roman Empire. See, casualties were quite mild. Nothing of particular concern. This unit of veterans took the hardest beating. It'll take them about 3 turns. Imperial Fists are obviously going to be a Siegecraft Legion. There's not a whole lot of question about that, now is there? The fleet, I will begin moving around the side, with the aim of eventually placing them up here. Which, by the way, does remind me, I do need a home fleet. How about... you? Let's see. And then... that should be more than enough for pretty much anything the Mediterranean is going to be throwing at us anytime soon. Now, we've got our defenses here, and it's this place, Casurgis. I am worried about the usefulness of these particular legions. The all-mounted one in particular, I'm a bit worried about. It's not a particularly powerful unit, simply because cavalry in this game is just not that good, so I'll be a little bit careful with those, especially as I don't have any artillery. Honestly, they were supposed to be paired with the Imperial Fists to begin with, to give them plenty of anti-artillery firepower, but the Fists were needed to smash open fortifications, and so these have been sent up here for no particular reason other than it was expedient. Once Casurgis falls, I can push up the garrison from Istros, as I think it's safe to say that the Germanic tribes are unlikely to bother me anytime soon. I should be safe enough. Should be safe enough. Now, buildings. Hello, slums. Yeah, that's gonna go away. And tear that down, and that down, and that down, and fishmonger. Nah, trading port. And a civil colonia. I don't expect this place to be under attack anytime soon, so that should be plentiful. Burdigala. What do I want to do with this province? Well, I'm thinking a temple is going to be necessary. A public forum would also not be out of place, and a superbia for some cash. The choice of Gaul or Carthage might be made for us, seeing as Carthage is getting a little bit annoyed with me. Unsurprising, perhaps. I have kind of been messing with their allies for a while. They tend to take that with somewhat of a lack of humour, in all due honesty. Deplorable quality, but hey. That's what happens when you're Carthaginian. It would be a fairly natural thing, actually. If you haven't read up on the Carthaginian gods, by the way, you definitely should. They are a funny bunch, they are. Pretty bad people, generally speaking. For gods, anyways. Eating of children, stuff like that. It's fairly uncomfortable reading. Not that the Romans didn't really mind the fact that they had nasty gods, they just didn't like the fact that they were mean to, their trade, and so they salted the ground, and Carthage was a pretty fucked over city. Ah, Carthage. Such an interesting history. It was a horrible fucking civilization, that's the worst part. Their only real redeeming quality was Hannibal, in my opinion. They weren't particularly good people. But, hey. Then again, the Romans weren't a particularly good people either by modern standards, so that should certainly be mentioned. Then again, at least the Romans were the bringers of civilization, most of the time. They were also the frequent bringers of violent death, obviously, but hey. That's just how you do, isn't it? Occasionally, you just have to murder vast quantities of humans. That's not really worth a fight. Just a bunch of half-fucking armed militia soldiers. By the way, I really shouldn't have fucking dogs in the Iron Warriors. Doesn't seem to fit, really. I should switch them out for something more decent. Ooh, hello, a colonia. Horses. Now that could be useful. As for the rest of this place, I'm thinking I'm going to be turning it into a farming district, more or less. Yeah, that'll be good. And we'll throw in an aqueduct there as well. And how's the public order? Not great, but not terrible. We'll do some Britain games to begin with, just to stabilize a little bit. But Looks pretty decent. Then again, there's a lot of garrison forces there right now, so if I were to remove all of those, I imagine the locals would be a lot less cooperative, but hey. These fucks are still raiding. Okay, how about you just don't do that? How? Proceed. Fuck off. There you go, that should take care of them. Now, as for you, how about I bring you up here, yeah? And then I should be able to just... boop. And there you go. You get to be slaves, because you kinda pissed me off, to be honest. Just sitting there, not attacking. I was hoping for some decent warfare. Ooh, garrison. Ooh, nice, sweet. Defender of Rome it is then, definitely. You know, I'm halfway tempted to just declare war on everything down here so I can get some fucking defensive sieges going, because I'm kind of getting bored. If I'm going to do that, though, I'm going to need a little bit more of a defense, aren't I? Because I'm going to get fucking swamped. Let's... what do we want? What do we want? Velites are quite useful. I'll get 2 of those, and the city guards. I'll get 1 more city guard, and then I'll get 1 veteran and 2 legionaries, giving me 15. Actually, is that a bit much? Yeah, I'll do it like this, because 14's probably about as much as I can get away with without having the enemy get really pissy with me. Also, I think I'll strengthen the garrison up here with a couple more city guards. Just because it's going to mean that I'm going to have to withdraw the 3rd Fleet to watch over this area here, just to make sure that they can't get across. But yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm just going to fucking declare some wars over here, because I'm getting bored. And I want some defensive fucking sieges, so fuck you.
Our young warriors crave they
And fuck you.
I am sure you have many pleasantries for me, but...
Many, many pleasantries, trust me. There we are. That should make things a bit more interesting, I'm hoping. Not quite the cautious, analytical art you're used to, is it? But I'm fucking... I want some defensive sieges. I love defensive sieges in this game, so I want them. What will this unlock, by the way? Auxiliary axe warriors, naked sword. That doesn't sound particularly useful. Auxiliary axe warriors. That's kind of I like axes. Sure, let's do that. If nothing else, I'll check what the highest level building does, because maybe, just maybe, I could get some oath swans or something. I don't think so. In fact, I'm like 99.9% sure you can't. But it's worth a try, because axe warriors might not be good, but oath swans, yes, oath swans good. Right, there doesn't seem to be anything up here, except for, well, this guy. I guess I wouldn't mind just grabbing the settlement. No, don't touch, do not touch. That's a good description. I like that. Alright, well, let's just poke around a little bit. Nah, that looks to be it. Alright, let's send up the Emperor's children to begin the siege. Which apparently won't be much of a siege. That's all I get, is it? And they have artillery, which means, what do we build? I don't have any artillery. Honestly, this is probably going to be... Really? The settlement's going to surrender in 2 turns? Really? This looks... I mean, it's got a... What the fuck? I thought there was a much bigger settlement. 2 fucking turns, really? Huh. That seems a bit quick. Still. By the way, I've been neglecting my other legions over here because I've been spending money on everything else. What's the cost on this? Oh, by the way, I don't want these guys anymore because apparently they're shit. Which is sad because, you know, I've already bought them, but yeah, fuck them. Apparently they're really terrible. They don't have this. What I here, what I thought was the old just square formation is actually a hollow square formation, which is actually a really shitty formation. So I'll have to rebuy those, which is fucking annoying. But hey, actually, let's do that right away. What do we want actually? So these guys. 6 heavy legionaries with 2 second cohorts, so they're looking to get 2 spear wielders. Okay, we'll do that. Spear. We'll just do Imperial, Roman Imperial Spearmen. Yeah, 2 of those. And for this... what? I'm actually thinking... I'm thinking 1 legionary. I'm thinking 1 legionary. And then... 2 late Imperial. There we are. That'll be better. And what was the cost of all of this again? Quite a bit, if I remember. 11,000. Yeah, I'll have enough for 1 next turn, which is fine. Then I want to go up here and get some weapons upgrade. And is that it? Yes, looks like it. Okay, we'll end the turn then. Except... we have a level. How lovely. What are you going to get then? I mean, we're full up on defense. Since you're technically Petorabos person here, what do we want? It's got to be a relentless attacker, doesn't it? I mean, that fucking works. The Iron Wars were nothing if not relentless attackers, so that'll work out. Ah, the Iron Warriors. I look forward to making my lore video on the Iron Wars, because they're an interesting legion. I'm still wondering whether I should split stuff like that up into 2 videos, 1 on the Primarch and 1 of the Legion. Because they have a lot in common, you know? There's a lot of history with the Iron Warriors Legion that just intertwines with the Primarch.
You are honorable, worthy, and strong, and only fools would not wish to be friends with you.
No. I'm tempted, because that would mean I'm entirely pretty much safe, but on the other hand, I don't want to be dragged into wars on their side. Not that I really mind, I mean, I just don't want to be dragged into war. Randomly declared war on 3 other nations, cause bored. I know. I'm a man of contradictions. It's what makes me so ruggedly handsome. Oh, fuck. Right, well, I didn't want them to move that way, did I? That's gonna complicate things. Triumph! Fuck off. Publius Fabius Marcellus. I'm sure you did precisely dick to earn that. Well, I mean, there's no way we're gonna get back there in time. That much is pretty obvious. Right. The Night Lords could advance behind them, while the Iron Warriors move towards Aracalium. Or I could send the Imperial Fists. Arse is virtually undefended. You should always make sure to cover your arse, otherwise it'll get stabbed. There's actually quite a lot of dudes in Arse. We're going on 45 minutes, but do I want to just take that? Nah, fuck it. I can't be asked. It's almost Christmas, so I feel like being a bit douchebaggy. Christmas brings out the worst in me. And it's only gonna get worse now that I'm doing YouTube as a semi-professional thing. It gets even worse because December is best month for earning money, which means December is good month for shilling. Oh yes. Best month for shilling. Oh shit, this is a problem, isn't it? Yeah, because now they'll just... Fuck, I didn't think that far. Right, cancel the upgrades at least then. Because now that fleet can just walk in and take that, because of course there's no garrison in Brigantium, but if they do wander in and take that, then my army can simply turn around and murder them, so it's not that big of a problem. It's not that big of an issue. Now, how are we doing up here? Huh. There is another army up here. I was expecting someone to go, you know, help them or something. I'm tempted to move up the PDF too to get some benefits out of that. Actually, I think I'm going to do just that. I'm going to see if I can get them involved in the fight, get them some free XP if at all possible. That would be nice. And, before I forget, you're going to be moving up there. Now, you all get upgrades. There you are. And you all get upgrades. Yes, I can just afford that. Awesome. Oh, hello. And there's more things coming. Is there anything threatening me here? No, not really. So I'll pop the fleet back in Odessus. At that point, I'm not too worried. They could be threatening Malva, however, so I'll move a spy down there just in case. The PDF is in position to occupy Malva if need be, so I'm not too worried. They could be pushing towards Pulpadeva, but 14 garrison, level 3, yeah, I'm not too worried. They could be trying to go for Navisos, but at that point I'll have poisoned them like 4 times, so that should really not present much of an issue either, in all due honesty. Now, are you in range to hand over the Praetorians? Just about. The 1st Legion will be getting their reinforcements. There we are. 2nd Legion will take up garrison duty for the moment, and then the 1st and the 2nd will move on Nemesis, and then Bibracte, while the Dacian force will take over the defense of Burdigala. Speaking of the defense of Burdigala, the culture is... yeah, I'm gonna need that fucking temple, aren't I? Oh well, that's not too big of an issue. Right, I think we'll wrap it up there. So until next time, I have been Arch. Thank you very much so for watching, and I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.